If you're anything like us, it feels like every single day you're just bombarded with new headlines.
Oh, absolutely. A data breach here, a ransomware attack there.
Exactly. It's this
Right.
constant information overload. And it feels like these threats are coming from some shadowy, impossible to understand place.
Well, it's easy to just think of it as a few, like, genius hackers in a basement somewhere. But the real story, the one we need to focus on, isn't the technical trick itself. It's the um, terrifyingly efficient business model behind it all.
That is the mission for today. We're going to pull back the curtain on Cybercrime as a Service, KRLS. Think of it as the franchise model for the criminal world. It's what has professionalized the digital underworld so completely.
To the point where you no longer need to be some master coder to launch a really sophisticated, high-impact attack.
The barrier to entry is just gone.
It's been lowered so drastically.
Yeah.
Our analysis, which we're pulling from our internal notes and the Canadian National Cyber Threat Assessment for 2025-2026, it reveals this astonishingly well-organized marketplace.
Okay, when you say marketplace, how professional are we really talking here? Is this just, some forum on the dark web?
No, think bigger. Think of it like a legitimate e-commerce site, like an Etsy or an eBay or maybe a B2B supplier.
So they have product listings.
Customer reviews.
They have standardized products, customer support, even dispute resolution. But instead of selling, handmade crafts, they're selling stolen data, malware, and guaranteed access into corporate networks.
That level of organization is genuinely chilling. And speaking of understanding how these threats are organized, we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, www.breached.company. Because understanding this professionalization, the very thing we're digging into, is really the first step in protecting yourself. So let's unpack this commercial construction warehouse for criminals.
That's the perfect way to put it. In the past, a criminal had to do it all themselves, find the vulnerability, write the code, execute the attack.
A one-person shop.
Exactly. Now, KSHS lets them just buy or rent every single piece they need and assemble it like a kit. So if it's a supply chain, what are the hot ticket items? The source material details a whole range of these as a service models.
The anchor product, and for sure the most damaging, is ransomware as a service, RAAS. This is a model where the core developers, the people who actually write the really nasty, effective code, they lease it out to what they call affiliates.
And the affiliates are the sales and distribution arm. They're the ones actually breaking in and deploying it.
Precisely. The affiliates don't need to be coders. They just need a way in and, the nerve to negotiate. In return for the malware, the developer gives them tech support, infrastructure, negotiation scripts, and then takes a cut, usually 20, maybe 30% of the ransom.
It's a formal partnership. That risk-sharing model just encourages everyone to scale up.
It does. But beyond RAAS, you have tools for the very first step of an attack.
The foot in the door.
Exactly. Take phishing as a service, or PaaS. This gives you everything. The hosting for fake login pages, the email template, step-by-step guides. But here's the critical evolution we're seeing now. They are integrating AI-powered chatbots to write the phishing emails.
Wait, hold on. Unpack that. How does AI specifically make a phishing email better?
Well, what was the #1 giveaway for phishing in the past?
Bad grammar. Awkward phrasing.
Right. It sounded like it was written by a robot. AI completely removes that. These chatbots can generate thousands of perfectly grammatical, contextually relevant emails at scale, in any language you want.
So the quality of the attack itself just skyrockets? That's terrifying.
It is, and it doesn't stop there. You can rent malware as a service to steal banking info, or DDoS as a service to knock a website offline, often priced by the hour.
Okay, so you have the tools, the affiliates. Where's the actual storefront for all this?
It's layered. You've got these highly organized, often invite-only marketplaces. Then you have forums. But the real action, the high-speed negotiation and logistics, that's all happening on encrypted chat platforms.
Like Telegram.
Telegram is huge for this. It's where they negotiate those multi-million-dollar ransoms in real time.
And the whole thing is propped up by support services, just like our real business.
Yep. They use what's called bulletproof hosting, which are servers in jurisdictions that won't respond to law enforcement requests, and of course money laundering services using crypto to clean the cache.
Let's drill down into that very first step of the supply chain then, the access. This brings us to a really specialized niche, access as a service. The key makers.
And this specialization is what makes the whole system so efficient. These are initial access brokers, or IABs. Their entire job is to gain persistent, unauthorized access to a network. That's it. They don't steal anything. They don't deploy ransomware. They just find a way in and sell the key.
So they do the hard part, the actual breaking and entering, and then they sell that access to another criminal who carries out the main attack.
Correct. It separates the roles, maximizes efficiency, and IAB finds a vulnerability, gets in, and then sells that access on a marketplace to a ransomware affiliate who's ready to go.
And what are they actually selling? It has to be more than just a username and password, right?
Oh, much more. While stolen credentials are a big part of it, the really valuable commodity is something called a digital fingerprint.
A digital fingerprint? How does that bypass modern security?
Okay, so your bank security doesn't just check your password. It analyzes your device. It's looking at your browser version, your screen resolution, your plugins, IP address, system fonts, hundreds of little data points that uniquely identify your computer.
Right, and if something's off, it triggers an alert or asks for two-factor authentication.
Exactly. But if a criminal buys your digital fingerprint, they can use special software to perfectly impersonate your machine.
Yeah.
They spoof all those hundreds of data points, so when they log in to the system, it looks like it's you on your trusted device from your usual location. It bypasses a lot of security warnings, sometimes even multi-factor authentication.
Wow. That's not just theft, that's total digital impersonation.
It is, and we saw the scale of this with a marketplace called Genesis Market. It was disrupted back in April 2023. Genesis sold nothing but account credentials and these highly detailed digital fingerprints from millions of compromised devices. It was a massive, competitive market for just that one thing. The perfect entry point.
So we have this highly organized, specialized, profitable business, but here's the frustrating part. When a market like Genesis gets taken down, why doesn't it seem to make a lasting dent? The threats just keep coming.
Because the KRMS model is built for resilience. It's decentralized. When law enforcement seizes a server, the actors they rebrand, they relaunch, they move to a new platform.
You mentioned the gig economy analogy.
It's just like that. Think about it. If a ride-sharing app shuts down, the drivers don't stop driving. They just switch to the next app.
They just open up Lyft instead of Uber?
Exactly. The workforce, the IABs, the affiliates, they're globally distributed and motivated by profit. Shutting down one server is a temporary inconvenience. They just set up shop on a new bulletproof host and start a new Telegram channel.
That modularity is their strength. Now, once they are inside a network, what are they doing to stay hidden?
They're using sophisticated evasion tactics. The big one is called living off the land, or LOTL. This means instead of using custom malware that a security tool might recognize, they use the system's own built-in tools against it.
They're using the victim's own kitchen knives, so to speak.
That's a great way to put it. They'll use things like PowerShell or Windows Remote Desktop tools. To a defender, it just looks like a normal system administrator doing their job. It's incredibly hard to spot.
What's the other major tactic?
The abuse of domestic infrastructure. To hide their tracks, they route their attacks through compromised home and small office equipment.
So you're saying they're bouncing an attack off of, like, a random person's smart fridge or a router in some unsuspecting suburb?
That is often exactly what's happening. The attack appears to come from a normal domestic IP address in Canada or the US, which makes it really hard for law enforcement to flag or trace it back to a foreign actor.
And on top of all that, a lot of these groups operate from geographic safe havens.
That's the harsh reality.
The forces are pretty clear that the core members of the biggest ransomware groups are very likely based in countries of the former Soviet Union, operating from places that offer them protection.
Which brings us to a crucial point in all this. The Caritas model isn't just for financial criminals anymore. State-sponsored actors are shopping in this marketplace too.
This is where the lines get really blurry, between crime and espionage. States are using this marketplace for two main reasons. First, to get advanced tools without having to develop them in-house.
And second,
Plausible deniability. They can hide their own operations behind the noise and chaos of the criminal underground.
and we see this with the People's Republic of China, right? They seem to use a whole marketplace of private contractors.
The documentation points to this model, yeah. The PRC uses private, project-based hacking firms like a company called iSoon. They reportedly sold hacking services and stolen data directly to PRC government and military clients. And they're targeting foreign interests, including Canadian IP, to support the PRC's own technological development.
It's like a bidding war for state secrets.
It's a competitive marketplace for espionage, yes. And then you have a different model, like with the DPRK, North Korea. They're not just buying services, they're using cybercrime to generate state revenue. They deploy ransomware and steal cryptocurrency to fund the regime's military ambitions.
If we connect those dots, especially the state activity, it leads to the most alarming risk identified in the sources,
Mhm.
the threat to critical infrastructure.
Yes, the pre-positioning.
Right.
State actors are getting inside critical infrastructure networks and just sitting there,
Mm.
waiting. Well, the main threat from a group like the PRC's Volt Typhoon has been focused on U.S. infrastructure. We have to remember how integrated North America is.
Meaning an attack south of the border would hit us here immediately.
Absolutely. Our pipelines, our rail lines, our power grids,
Yeah.
they don't stop at the border. They're all interconnected. Destructive cyber activity of the U.S. would almost certainly impact Canada's economy and security.
Okay, let's wrap this up. The key takeaway from this deep dive is really the democratization of digital devastation. Cyber threats aren't just for a few elite hackers anymore. It's an industrialized, resilient, profit-driven business model.
And the numbers back that up. Global ransom payments hit $1 billion in 2023. This isn't a hobby. It's a massive global economy.
And the scale is just mind-boggling. Look at the CL0P attacks on software like Movie, Sopta. That one series of attacks using this specialized model impacted an estimated 94 million people around the world.
That's the scale this professional system enables. The resilience, the AI, the specialization. It's all driven by this organized marketplace.
And we want to give one final thank you to our sponsor, www.breach.company, for supporting this deep dive into the business of cybercrime.
And we'll leave you with this final thought to mull over. Given the incredible resilience of this CANTS model, the growing use of AI to make deception nearly perfect, and the fact that state adversaries are using these same tools, what does it mean for all of our security when the weapons of sophisticated cyber warfare are just for sale to the highest bidder in an anonymous online marketplace?